European Championship Germany vs Denmark prediction, team news, lineups preview. The second of two Euro 2024 last 16 ties taking place on Saturday, hosts Germany clash with Denmark at the Signal Iduna Park in Dortmund in the late kickoff. Julian Nagelsmann's men topped Group A to cruise into the knockout rounds, while their Scandinavian counterparts nabbed second place in a highly forgettable Group C match preview. Banishing the demons of their last two World Cup campaigns, which both ended with premature group stage exits, Germany had already rubber-stamped their knockout place with just 2 games gone thanks to putting a combined 7 goals past Scotland and Hungary. Simply avoiding defeat versus Switzerland on the final matchday and Die Mannschaft were guaranteed to progress as group winners, but Nagelsmann's men were on the brink of being unexpectedly demoted down to the runners-up spot thanks to Dan Doi's opener. However, on an evening of dramatic late goals in Group A, Niklas Füllkrug, who takes to home turf this weekend, popped up with an injury-time leveler to just about ensure Germany's status as group winners, thereby avoiding a last 16 battle with reigning champions Italy. In a peculiar turn of events, though, Switzerland are arguably now on the easier side of the knockout draw, as Germany have been grouped with fellow heavyweights Spain, France, Portugal and Belgium as their reward for winning the group and reaching the last 16 for the 5th time in a row. A quarter-final clash with either Spain or the unfancied Georgia will await if Germany can do the business against Denmark. And they arrive at Borussia Dortmund's headquarters still unbeaten from their 7 matches in the calendar year, prevailing in 5 and playing out 2 draws. Speaking of one-point affairs, Group C was won for the stalemate specialists in England, Slovenia, Serbia and Denmark, all of whom contributed to the joint lowest-scoring men's Euros group in history with just 7 goals scored across 6 games. Upcoming foes Germany were coincidentally involved in the only previous 7-goal section in 2016, and despite not winning any of their games in the group, Denmark's 3 draws with their 3 foes was enough for Kasper Hjulmand's side to clinch the silver medal position. The Danes were responsible for just 2 of the 7 strikes in Group C, although Morten Hjulmand's rocket versus England will certainly go down as a goal of the tournament contender, and they have now qualified for the knockout stages of back-to-back Euros for the first time ever. Hjulmand will be under no illusions that improvements are required quickly if his troops are to stand a chance of shocking the tournament hosts, but they coincidentally share Germany's 7-match unbeaten run in 2024 and have just 1 loss under their belts from their last 15 contests. However, Germany emerged triumphant over Denmark during their last competitive showdown at the 2012 European Championships, prevailing 2-1 in the group phase thanks to Łukasz Podolski and Lars Bender, but both friendly encounters since have ended 1-1. Team news. Germany boss Nagelsmann went with the same starting 11 for all 3 of his side's Group A games, but he will be forced into at least one alteration here, as Jonathan Tah has been booked twice and must serve a 1-match ban. Furthermore, Tah's regular centre-back partner Antonio Rudiger has been hampered by a hamstring problem and did not train with the team earlier this week, although there is still optimism that he will be able to marshal the Mannschaft defence, likely alongside Nico Schlotterbeck. Robin Koch and Waldemar Anton are both waiting in the wings if need be, and Füllkrug's strike off the bench against Switzerland gives Nagelsmann a bit more food for thought up top. But there is no indication that Kai Havertz will lose his place. Similarly, Denmark head coach Hjulmand must also work around a suspension to an integral figure on Saturday, as Sporting Lisbon midfielder and his namesake Morten Hjulmand is also on the naughty step due to a totting up of yellow cards. The Red and White's boss is not short of options to replace him, though, as Brentford duo Christian Norgard and Matthias Jensen are competent alternatives, as is Thomas Delaney, who recovered from illness to come off the bench against Serbia. Further up the field, Jonas Wind has not been cutting the mustard up front since his delicate assist for Christian Eriksen against Slovenia. So any of Andreas Skov Olsen, Kasper Dolberg or Yusuf Poulsen might threaten his position. Germany possible starting lineup: Neuer, Kimmich, Schlotterbeck, Rudiger, Mittelstadt, Kroos, Andrich, Musiala, Gundogan, Wirtz, Havertz. Denmark possible starting lineup: Schmeichel, Anderson, Christensen, Vestergaard, Ba, Højbjerg, Delaney, Mail, Eriksson. Hodgland, Wind. We say, Germany 2-0 Denmark. While Germany's display versus Switzerland in the final group game left a lot to be desired, Nagelsmann's men could be forgiven for easing off a tad with their last 16 place already sealed. And we ought to see a rejuvenated Mannschaft side at the Signal Iduna Park. Denmark have made a habit of keeping games close at Euro 2024, but even a rejigged German backline should not have much trouble repelling the Scandinavians' often futile attacks. And we can only envisage Nagelsmann's men marching on to the last 8. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.